Action is the foundation key to all success. Pablo Picasso. My friends, each and every day, take the action of tracking these markets. Just think about it. Stocks, ETFs, they're only going to do one of two things. A binary decision, up or down. Yes, they can go sideways, but that's typically not the concern. Are they going to go up? Are they going to go down? We use these charts to help us make the best decision. 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. That's all we ask. Stocks and Bitcoin down, gold and bonds are up. Let's analyze these charts and see where we are. Now let's just step back for a second. Look at where we are. We've had 3 weeks of strong down movement. Things are slowing down right now. We see on our 2-day chart, we see a sideways slide, don't we? We have a red spinning top for the Friday of last week, Monday of this week, and so far we have a doji this week. Volume's about halfway to average. We had lots of volume on that prior 2-day candle. We're okay on the weekly. Look at the half day. It's below average here for most of the last few days. So we saw things pop up and then roll over today. We had 2 days of moving up and a day rolling over. So conceptualize all of that in your mind. I'll tell you where we are when we run our numbers and we look at what's going on the weekly, the 2-day and the half day. We've got a directional probability of continuing to go down of 70%. We see support around the 260 mark. We're at 261.02 at the close of the market today. And we have resistance at 262.47. We see our strict entry point right around the 260.97 mark and about an 83% back test accuracy of it continuing to go down. So keep an eye on that. See if it moves on down in the morning and then continues. I know we're getting long in the tooth, but it could go down for weeks and weeks and weeks. It could also turn around. Another batch of items that I looked at today actually was trying to convince me that things are stalling and getting ready to pop up. Now, it did pop up for 2 days, but then crashed back over. So I'm more in the camp of continued down movement. So again, expected move around $9 or so. Let's look at where we are on the NASDAQ. It was down even more. The S&P was down 1.08% today. The NASDAQ down 1.70%. We've got about a 75% probability of continued down movement. We see support at the 474.54 mark, which is right where we are now. And again, we've got the possibility of continued down movement. And again, we saw things go up for 2 days, but then really rocket back over. And that tends to make us think that we are going to continue to see more down movement. We haven't matched, as far down as we went last week on this week's candle. We can see that. Again, because of this 2 days of up movement there on Friday and then on Monday, and then things rolling over. So we could be building a base here, around that 460 something mark. And we'll just keep an eye on things and see how they continue to move. There's very little difference between our aggressive entry point at about where we are now and our strict entry point. So we'll continue to watch the S&P and the NASDAQ, see if they keep going in those short directions. Now let's move on to TLT. That is 20-year U.S. government bonds up just a little bit today, 0.10%. And again, looks like we're trying to make some kind of base here around that, 89 mark or so. And, things have moved up. We closed at 90.71. As we look at where the market might go tomorrow, we've got a long position of going long about 70%. We see support at that 90.47 mark, resistance at the 93.34, And again, going long, if we see some pullback in the morning, just a little bit around for the strict entry, 90.47, for the aggressive entry, 90.67. Hell, we're already at 90.71. So that, and a lot of times that aggressive entry point is right where the market closed the day before. Again, you know, our charts are telling us aggressive entry point. The back test shows about a 75% likelihood, and we're very, very high on that strict entry point. So again, we'll just continue to watch, wait and see if things go our way. We're not reaching that high of last week. We saw the volume dip, opened lower than the prior close last week, opened higher than the prior close this week, not quite up to halfway to average. And again, we can see how the 2-day been sliding sideways. So we will keep an eye on things and see if going long is the right thing to do tomorrow on TLT Gold. Up, it's our biggest gainer for the day, 1.17%. About 75% directional probability is what we have on gold. Support at around the 269 mark, resistance at the 280. We're at 279.96 as we close. Aggressive entry pointers around the 277. We see things pull back, hit that, stabilize, and then move back up. The strict entry point, that was the aggressive 277. Strict entry points around 269. And again, we've got decent levels of backtest accuracy at 75 and 80% respectively. And of course, when we go to HODL, that is Bitcoin, we see that and again, this is one I'm having a hard time with. It's, you know, it's giving, and it's more than just halfway. It's not a 55%, it was 65% long. As I look at that, I can see that we have been stalling here. You know, we hit the low of lows, the most recent interim low. On the 2-day chart back on the 10th, you can see on this half-day chart when it occurred in the afternoon on the 10th. Then things moved up some, pulled back a little bit, moved up again, pulled back. And I'm just not seeing where we've made a strong enough base to push off of that. I do know that we're seeing support at the 23.20 and resistance at 28. And of course, the entry points are right around where we are now. Do keep an eye. Again, what are you always looking for entry points is if you do see things going green, you see decent volume, and the volume's been, you know, okay, average over the last few days. On the half day, not been very high on the 2-day, but we can see where it's mounted up on the half day, and you can see the last time we were above average was that week of the big drop back on the 24th of February, where we had above average volume on the weekly chart. So keep your eye on things tomorrow. Let's see how this plays out with a potential long play. If you see support, you see a green candle, you see decent volume, might give you the opportunity to go a little long on Bitcoin. We shall see. Again, the odds are not greatly in favor for that, but if you see that happening and you have the base of support, it might be there for you. There we are, my friends. Always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com is how you reach out to us. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.